The town board of the town web prepared the preliminary budget for 2023. We'll hold a public hearing on November 6, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the town web municipal office building, 3140 State Route 28, Old Orange, New York. A copy of the preliminary budget is on file at the office of the town clerk, town web, where it will be available for inspection during business hours. Dated October 16th, by order of the town board, Nancy T. Russell, town clerk.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I guess I'll start with COLA this year is 3.2%. COLA last year was 8.7%. Last year we gave a raise of 6% across the board unless you were under contract. The contracts are PBA and CSEA. We're trying to increase our salaries as COLA and insurance fluctuate so much. This year we tried 10% unless you were under contract. We are under the 2% tax cap this year. General taxes went from $3,448,650 to $3,423,302. It was a decrease of $25,348. Highway taxes went from $507,580 to $522,275. This was an increase of $14,695. The increase was due to a machinery purchase. These together have a decrease of $10,653 or $2.17 per thousand. That is a difference of 3 cents per thousand decrease over last year. Water taxes went from $122,189 to $117,093. This is a decrease of $5,096 or 53 cents per thousand. This was a decrease and it occurred because we paid off a well that we had bonded out for many years. The sewer district went from $153,474 to $180,708. This is an increase of $27,234 or $1.32 per thousand. This is an increase of 19 cents per thousand over last year. This increase is due because we have a new steamboat landing pump station across the water over here. Our sewer plant went from $284,301 to $422,167. This is an increase of $137,866 or $470 per user. This was an increase of $168 per user, which is quite substantial. We did the best we could on this. This is an increase due to an unfunded state mandate at our wastewater treatment plant. Some increases and decreases are as follows. The police, the chief received a 4% raise. We are in PBA negotiations at this moment, so the increase for the police patrol has not been established yet. The police department will also be replacing a 2015 Tahoe currently in their fleet. BTR received a 10% raise. Superintendent of the highways received a 4% raise. Highway garage had a $10,000 increase in fuel for apparent reasons. CSEA received 3% per their contract in their raise. Also, there was an increase on the equipment line for a new piece of equipment, which increased it about $20,000. Publicity received a 10% raise. Macaulay Mountain Manager received a 6% raise. CSEA received a 3% raise, and all others at Macaulay received a 10% raise. The tax collector received a 10% raise increase in salary. Assessors received a 10% increase in their salary. There is also a $43,000 in the equipment line to replace a vehicle that they now have in their fleet. We raised the attorney line $20,000 in anticipation of CSEA and PBA negotiations and any short-term rental issues or other issues that may occur. Short-term rental is kind of a new thing, so we don't know what that might bring to us. Public Works Superintendent received a 10% raise. CSEA, under contract, received a 3% raise. $20,000 was put into a reserve for a new vehicle for that department. The Water District, the salary increases were 3% for CSEA and all others received 10%. We paid off a well, which I mentioned earlier, which made a decrease in our debt service. The Sewer District and plant employees received a 10% raise. Nonprofits, Kinderwood was given $9,000. Living 80K was given $15,000, View was given $8,000, Haska was given $13,000, Historian was given $13,000. One moment, please. Thank you. The zoning office, where do I have that written? Sorry about that. The zoning office received, the head of the department received a 4% raise and the rest received 10% raises there. Thank you for all of our nonprofit groups for all they do for us. You do amazing work and we appreciate you. All comments shall be directed to the board and be relevant to the topic and will become part of public record. Does anyone have any comments or questions? Yes, ma'am.
I noticed that throughout your talking about the salaries, you were saying that the CSEA personnel received 3% and other people received 10%.
Yes.
My personal belief is that our employees are well worth the money, first of all. But from a recruitment and a retention perspective, does the 10% raises bring those people up to equity or par? I don't like the term equity, but do they bring it up to basically par where the CSEA employees are? Well, it's, you know, I mean, you're bringing personnel up 10%. The CSEA people are they're under contract, and I understand that.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I think from my perspective with it, and what we kind of discussed with it was that we were trying to get the hourlies is where what we're at. We're trying to get them to be a little more real in relation to the rates in the whole area. And the CSCA ones were we wanted to do as much as we could for what we can. They're locked in.
I guess
But we
it's
think
right.
when it comes to recruiting people to come in and work, we made our hourlies much more desirable to get more workers to be able to come back.
And I wholeheartedly agree with that approach.
Okay.
If you
That's what I think we
pay
accomplished.
people
Yes,
enough,
I think we did accomplish that, and just so, for the on the CSEA's part, their first, they had
It's a
contracts 3 years. They
okay,
got 10% the first year,
okay,
and then they got 5 and 3, and that's how they negotiated.
okay, so, and this is
So
in
they
the
did
third year
get a
of their
bigger one
contract.
a few
Okay,
years ago.
all right, I just,
No, that's a great question.
I'm concerned about people leaving one job to try and go into another job
Yes,
if there's a disparity in the pay scale.
correct.
Okay,
There's
Thank
a lot
you.
of consideration on the cost of living up here now and,
Mhm.
and looking at
yeah,
where things are at, right? So
yeah, you have to have people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great question.
Any other questions? No? Brian's looking at me.
Can I just ask one question about
Sure.
the police? I think you said that they're in negotiations, so we haven't set a salary? Is that,
We added a percentage on there to increase it, but we don't
is
know what
there
it is.
negotiation for 2024, starting
Yes.
in 24?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
okay, thank you.
and we'll be in, our next meeting's in December. Anyone else? Having heard all comments from those wishing to speak on the topic, would someone like to make a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now I'd like to welcome everyone to the November 6th Audit of Claims meeting. We've reviewed the bills. The board held a public hearing earlier for the 2024 preliminary budget. A general overview of the subject occurred, public comments were received, and this board discussed aspects of the budget. Do I have a motion that the Town of Webb Town Board adopt the 2024 preliminary budget as presented tonight as the 2024 operating budget?
Make a motion to accept.
Second,
I'll second.
any discussion?
I would like to say, for another year, it was, always, the budget is very difficult. It takes a lot of our time. And I just thankful to everybody that works on it so hard. And Bonnie, thank you for a very good job of keeping us organized with it. And Nancy, I have to say, Nancy keeps us organized also, very much. It's hard.
Anything else? A roll call vote, please.
Councilman Gardner,
Aye.
Councilman Greco,
Aye.
Councilwoman Green,
Aye.
Councilman Ross,
Aye.
Supervisor Baker,
Aye.
5 ayes.
All RFPs due to the town clerk on or before November 6th for the removal of existing carpet, baseboards, and replacement, and replace them with 18 by 18 interlocking rubber tiles, rubber T-molds for doorways, and new 4-inch cove baseboard. This project install will need to take place between 11/20/23 and 12/1/23 to be completed by 12/1/23. Do we have any RFPs?
We received 2. I'm keeping you in suspense. Okay, the first one is from Sierra's Flooring Outlet out of Utica. It is for $13,643.81. And the second one is from Schuster Floor. And it is for $13,123.61. So close. I have not looked to see,
How much was the second one?
second one, $13,123.61.
And that was who?
Schuster.
And both of them in there, do they say that they can complete it in time? Do they have the product in stock?
They do not tell me anything. They sent pieces of paper with their numbers, that's it.
But it was in the bid that it has to be done by that date.
That's correct. So if you accept it, they have to have it done by whatever dates we put in there.
And that product is the same, correct, Kurt? I mean, you can't.
It should be.
That's what I was having him look at when you're down there. They look like it's the same.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Yeah, he's looking at it. I can't imagine that you can bid on a different kind of product. It's one kind of flooring.
Yeah.
So,
Make a motion to accept Schuster's flooring bid, right?
Yes. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Gardner,
Aye.
Councilman Greco,
Aye.
Councilwoman Green, Councilman Ross,
Aye.
Supervisor Baker,
Aye.
5 ayes.
Macaulay Mountain Dock, all bids should be to the town clerk by 4 p.m. on or before November 6th to replace the deck at Macaulay Mountain to create a safe and comfortable environment. Do we have any bids?
We have no bids, but I did have a phone call from a contractor in Utica? Pulaski. Very interested. They didn't find out to the last minute. So I did send them stuff thinking maybe you guys would extend it. But.
And they want to start now.
And they can start now, and if for some reason you guys don't want to start now, they can start in April.
Did they say how long they need to make a bid?
No. They didn't have a
We could
conversation.
probably get that
So-
info tomorrow then.
So I would
He got everything today.
make the recommendation that we extend the bids until next Tuesday
Okay?
in the hopes that they can do it and, or at least get a bid in, right? And anybody else that wants to bid on it, let's extend it
Is
to
it-
next Tuesday and then,
You want to do next?
Is it necessary To extend the bid, if we did our due diligence and we didn't get any, and then somebody comes that says they can, are we required to still hold the bids
You
open?
can ask Brian that in the morning.
Because, I mean, if we can just.
Usually it
But
does.
either way,
Yeah.
I would feel more comfortable at least making the motion in case that's what we have to do, right?
Sure.
I would think
And
it
it-
does matter.
That could be withdrawn if we did something wrong there, but
Okay.
be nice.
Well,
to-
yeah, that
way we're
if
not
anybody's
holding out.
willing to build it, it'd be
We're
nice to
gonna
entertain
accept
their
the bid
vote.
next
You know,
Tuesday
I
anyway,
hate to miss an
regardless.
opportunity.
Right.
If we don't have to extend it out, you can just accept the bid. If we have to
Okay.
extend it out, this motion will cover it. If the
Okay.
Tuesday
gentleman,
anyway.
No, there's a reason why there's a deadline, because somebody could come in and with a lower bid.
Yeah.
You have to have it on a timely.
So
but we have no bids.
I make a motion to extend the bids until next Tuesday's, meeting.
Okay.
And if anything else comes in by then we'll
What is that?
review it.
Second.
12-4, or 11-14?
Barb, second.
Kurt and Bart.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Gardner.
Aye.
Councilman Greco. Councilman Green.
Aye.
Councilman Ross.
Aye.
Supervisor Baker.
Aye.
5 ayes, and I will call the gentleman in the morning. He's got stuff today, so he's good.
Thank you.
Do you remember, Bonnie, what we put in the budget for that floor?
You put him in
I don't remember.
I don't think we have anything.
No?
But we have money in,
Oh,
we have money in buildings
right,
still.
we have money that can be used for it.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So I just had one thing to say. This is the second budget I've done for the town of Webb. And it couldn't be put together without our department heads, our town board. Dawn Schweinsberg, my assistant, Nancy Russell, and Caleb, our state comptroller, who probably is getting sick of me calling him. But I have to do that just to make sure that we're right. But thank you, everyone, for helping
you.
with this.
Thank
It
you.
couldn't be done without you
Good
guys.
job.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Oh, I'd like to, it's okay, I say that? I just wanted to really, thank Brian. He's put a tremendous amount of work in, and Linda, on the Macaulay plan.
Oh, yeah.
I might have been up there speaking and stuff like that, but these two,
Thank you.
really, this guy's done so much work.
I got a few things to say while I'm here. I'll keep it brief. Do you guys understand what the whole process is going forward? Okay.
Okay.
One thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get a construction management team together that's going to be crucial to being successful. All right. If the engineer gets done, which I anticipate he will get done within, well, maybe by the end of the year. All right. That lift is going to come to us in April, late April, May timeframe. You have to have a place to store it, which is no problem. But the contractor we've been talking to out of Vermont is about 60% booked for next year. He'll do everything as far as the clearing, foundation prep, but he won't pour the concrete. The guy another guy I've talked to will do concrete and like that, but we still have to determine if it's going to have to be flown in. If it's flown in, it's a different devil because they dictate when they will be here. If you're not ready, like Kurt said, see ya, we're out of here. Anyways, if we get normal about this, we should put it out to bid in mid to late January. Give them a month. Try to award in March timeframe, so that you can have that CM firm start doing what they do to control the budgets, your wishes, and like that.
The schedule, yeah.
So it's a case of, we want to get on this quickly if the design is done.
Can you help with an RFP for that, or?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
That's what I was gonna say. You're staying on at the end of the year as advisor to this committee thing, or
I am.
open
If
to-
the next board wants me to stay on, I have no problem.
Yeah,
staying on.
we'll stick with
We're
Kurt.
trying to have the same group
Yeah.
formed when we move into the.
Yeah, I have no problem doing that,
If the board
If
wants me
they're-
to.
but it's starting, the wheels were square when we started. We've chipped them down a little bit and they might be oval. Yeah, but we got to start thinking. We got to be rational about it and try to give the contractors as much time as we can because they're booking now for 2025.
Yeah.
Or 24. I'm sorry. I'd like to see the lift active by 2024, December.
That'd be cool.
All right, it can be done. The other thing is that when Ross Stevens, who was 74 years old, but Neville Sachs, who was signing it, is 75. I'd like to see them go to the Frankenlift, which is the beginner area, and have that engineering done, signed, and ready to go. Because these guys are aging out. Okay? There's only one company that makes the drive unit and the idler unit for the top, and that's Skytrack out of Salt Lake City. So there's going to be some
Sole source and stuff.
sole source stuff that you might be uncomfortable with, but just think about you've got one manufacturer. So
Well, it is
you
what
know,
it is.
yeah. So and there's only one engineer I know of. There's only 2 splicers and maybe 3 splicers in the U.S. and they're all 60 years old. So if you have to get a splicer from Europe, you might have to wait 2 years. And it might be sole source. That splice is 140 feet long. That's a lot of cable. It's a cable that big. So there's some unique idiosyncrasies about this job. So it's just everybody has to be patient and work together to make it work. I know we can do it.
For sure. Thank you.
Well,
again very
part of
much.
it,
Construction management team you mentioned. We'll have to talk about that because those are key players
Yeah.
and they really need to know what they're doing.
Right.
And
That's the
so we definitely need to.
Yeah, that's White and Reader. They've done.
Okay.
I used to work for them. They're out of Central Square and Albany,
Okay.
and I think the biggest job I worked on with them was probably 18 million. So it's not out of their range of comprehension to do this.
What's
They
their
work-
name again?
White, WHITE, and Reader, READER.
Thank you.
But
Okay.
is that like an only company that does it?
No, there's other ones out there.
Being
We
our-
have to-
Yeah, we're doing RFP. I just
It's-
wanted to research.
The one thing that I worry about,
there is a
Barb, more than
company that
anything, is that the terrain they're gonna work on, I would be very comfortable with somebody who has worked on either penstocks for hydroelectrics, or transmission lines, or gas lines. That is used to protocols for accessing mountains, mountain terrain, and rough terrain. So, because the safety protocols, are quite different than a shopping center.
Well, I think we're gonna keep you on a pretty tight leash.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we have that information.
But that's my concern.
Yeah.
And I know these guys have done, the hydro work, they've done transmission, I think they've done transmission, but they've done, stuff like that. So they're used to that. And then the helicopter stuff, that's just, straightforward protocols. That you have to follow. So, but every day I would expect a daily report to go to the full board with photographs, descriptions, all at the end, you're gonna have probably a case file that big. It's gonna have either on a DVD or something like that, that's gonna have all the records. And I would spell that out as far as what my expectations would be, so you guys can look at it and fully understand. I mean, you're doing construction, you know how much it can drive you crazy.
Yeah.
If you don't have the stuff written up. So,
Excited that you guys keep going where you're going. Okay.
so, but that's all I can say.
well, we gotta remember too that when Gord takes that down, they're not gonna store it for us. When it's down there, we gotta get it out of
Yeah, the other thing with the T-bar we have, we have to ask Steve to look at it and see if there's any parts salvageable for Max back. Okay? So, the one thing with the maintenance building, I know it's in the plan, the 2 groomers we have do not fit in there with the tiller and with the plows on them. It's just too small. That was made for a Tucker cat, which is pretty small. So I would say that if you want to use that building for cold storage for parts, that's a pretty good use for it. And then with your new position, leave that person over in the existing office and create a hallway, if you may, that's an office space for this ski area manager on an overall basis, because you're going to make it anyways, instead of trying to, do the modifications to the existing office building.
Makes sense.
So, and then you'd have everything right there, because the ski area manager, like Steve, is going to have his, his responsibility is going to be a little bit more, but the business manager's wise choice is to take that burden off them, but they're right in the middle of it, right there, and leave the ski area manager over here. He's dealing with the stuff he's got to deal with.
That makes sense.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Brian.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I wanted to thank Steve and sure I'm forgetting everybody, Mike, and there was a lot of people, Tim Kuhn,
Tuesday.
a lot of people were involved in
There was a lot of blank looks when he walked over and says, "Well, you guys want a lift? Huh?
It's pretty
Who are
neat.
you?"
All you need to do is say yes, that's what they say.
Yeah.
And I joked with him, I said, yeah, sure, for $1.
He said, "Sold." Well, I really hope you decide to go forward with it. It would be a tremendous asset. And Steve has well maintained the hall lift that's there. It needs to work? Yeah, it needs a little bit. But, you know, they told us up there, Matt Allen, the head of the lifts up there, he says, don't get rid of that hall lift. That thing is a beast. Very simple. You got a new motor on it, variable speed drive. And,
From
you
where
know,
Kurt started talking about this, I just feel lucky that we actually have an option now. So what are the
Right.
options here? What, you know?
yeah, the only thing.
That's where I was before. This is about we all these upgrades up here. What are the options with the town funds all this? So.
Yeah, the only thing that we're looking at to
Guys
do
did
is to
that.
take where the T-bar house is now, the bull wheel, that will move back about 200 feet towards,
It'll be way back towards
yeah.
By the
that playground right there.
Yeah, so when you go down skiing, you can either choose lift A or lift B. Your choice.
Let's get cooler names.
Thank you again.
Stevie's dream.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Wait, you don't want to.
Second?
Just kidding.
No one is seconded.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all very much.